Hey guys, it's Misty Eyez, and I'm here with Queens of the Week, and it's Sexy Saturdays, and this week it's my topic, which is Bruce Jenner. But I recorded my video before he came out as Caitlyn, so I do want to make an amendment. I call him Bruce a lot in my video, I'm sure. I don't remember what I said, but I think I recorded it 2 weeks ago. But Caitlyn's out. And she's very public about being Caitlyn, and I am so happy for her. It breaks my heart that she had to wait till she was 65 to become comfortable in her own skin. It just breaks my heart. But I totally understand the peer pressures of religion and church and society and family and the press and the public, and I get it. I totally get it. And a lot of people are talking about Kris Jenner and her role in this entire thing. And I'm really irritated with Kris Jenner. I'm irritated because A, she knew all along. When Caitlyn did the Diane Sawyer interview, she mentioned that Kris Jenner knew because she had been taking hormones and had breasts. And she's trying to downplay her knowledge in the situation. Like, oh, I didn't know. I thought you just like to put on women's clothing every once in a while. But yet when she talks to Kim, in one of the episodes, she told her that she always paints her toenails and she usually just wears socks around the house. So you're telling me that you don't know your husband had breasts when you married him, and you don't know your husband painted his toenails for the last couple of years? And by the way, did you see Caitlyn? She's obviously been taking hormones for a very long time to get enough room to put in an implant to begin with. And obviously with the Adam's apple shaving, and the facial feminization and the nose job and things. It's been happening for a while, and Kris Jenner's like, oh my god, I didn't know, and I'm traumatized. And yeah, it's good to play the victim, but Mary, calm down the dramatics. It's not necessary. America's not going to be sympathetic to you because, oh wait. It's a big fat mess. But anyways, I don't remember what I said a couple weeks ago in my video, but the bottom line is I'm super duper happy for Caitlyn Jenner, and I think she looks stunning, and she really quickly skipped that butterfly stage. Like, usually the T-girls, we go through the ugly duckling phase where we're on hormones and we don't look like either, which she still might be underneath all that makeup, but she's doing good, and I'm happy for her, and I will definitely be tuning in. I'm already following her on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and I will be watching her show as well. Again, I'm very happy for her, and please enjoy the video I previously recorded, but just to clarify, I call him, please enjoy the video I just recorded. It's obviously pre-Caitlyn. I don't call her Caitlyn, and I don't call her she. But you get the gist of it. Good luck, Caitlyn. I wish you lots of success. Hey guys, guess what? It's Misty Eyez, and I'm here with Queens of the Week. Alright, this week we were talking about Misty Eyez' topic. That's me. And she wants to talk about Bruce Jenner. Bruce Jenner has been all over the press. Good, bad, negative, positive, and lots of confusion. And I wanted the queens to talk about Bruce Jenner. Basically, Bruce Jenner just came out as transgender in a very public way. Is Bruce brave or desperate for attention? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? And how do you think America will react? All right, so there's a lot of people talking about how Bruce Jenner's just doing this as a publicity stunt for the Kardashians. By the way, Bruce never had to come out of the gay closet because he's a lesbian. But Most transgendered women have to come out, or men even, come out as lesbian or gay before they come out as transgendered. Coming out of the closet is one of the hardest things you could do in your life. You're afraid of how people are going to react. You're afraid of how people will treat you. You're afraid of being disowned by your family. You're afraid of a lot of things. This is definitely not a publicity stunt. Most transgender people have to come out twice. They come out first as gay, and then once their family accepts their homosexuality or lesbianism, then they're like, oh, by the way, mom, just kidding. I'm actually a straight woman or straight man. I'm transgender. And yes, Bruce Jenner is not the only lesbian I know. There are several trans women and trans men that are lesbian and or gay. I know lots of trans guys that are gay and lots of trans women that are lesbian. I've personally been attracted to trans men. There's like 3 right now that I'm just like, please notice me. You're really hot. I have never been a lesbian in my whole life, so I've not ever fantasized or thought about being with another trans woman or a real woman, but I've definitely met trans women lesbians. So yeah, the topic is my topic. I really want to talk about Bruce Jenner. I think what he did is beyond brave. And I think that a lot of trans women will be very upset about him coming out. Unfortunately, I think a lot of trans people feel that they're vampires. Most trans people that I know are secret on the DL. They don't want anybody to know that they were born the opposite gender. They are trying to pass as much as possible. Please don't notice me. I'm normal. I'm a real woman. I'm a real man. I'm a vampire. Like, if people don't know that vampires exist, they won't notice me. I'm not trying to stick out. I'm trying to blend in. And I get that. I totally get it. I understand it. But what I think Bruce Jenner is doing, and I hate calling I hate calling her Bruce Jenner because she hasn't publicly given her girl name. But I hate calling her Bruce because that's such a masculine name. But I think what Bruce Jenner is doing for the trans community is beyond amazing. The reality is, transsexualism is a very real thing. And not everybody knows it. Not everybody knows a trans person. Or if they do, they might not know that they know a trans person. Transsexualism is a very, very real thing. And there are trans people out there that are struggling with the very same thing that Bruce is struggling with. Hopefully the fact that Bruce can come out as a trans person at 65 years old, obviously she waited so long because of society and family and public pressures. Hi, I'm a trans woman. What is the world going to think about that? It's very scary. And I think what she is doing is very, very, very brave and opening the world's eye to something that a lot of people might not have known about. The trans community does not like the word she-male or tranny because of porn. A lot of the pornography and, fetish porn associates she-male or tranny as a negative word. I definitely might agree that she-male is a fetish term used by the porn community. So is tranny. But much like the gay community has gay porn and granny porn, and I don't think granny or gay are bad words, I personally disagree on the tranny word. I think that if the trans community does embrace that word and makes it their own, it can be a positive light for our community. But what I think Bruce Jenner is doing is very scary for her. But what I think Bruce is doing is very scary for her. Every trans person goes through the ugly duckling phase. Like, you take your hormones, you take your whatever, and she hasn't blossomed into her gorgeous girl self yet. And it will be much more difficult for her as a 65-year-old person to do that. The closer you are to puberty, the more you're able to blossom into your womanhood or masculinity. The farther you are from puberty, basically the bottom line is we have been producing testosterone since the day we were born. We were born with balls, we were born with testicles, and we've been producing that testosterone our entire life. Granted, during puberty, we develop the most manly and testosterone things, and if you can counteract that quickly, you might become a very beautiful, passable woman. But the longer you wait, the harder it does become to fight that. So taking testosterone at 65 is going to be much more difficult for her body to produce and change into that gorgeous woman. Trans women do definitely have a very, very hard... Unfortunately, I think trans women are much more ostracized by society than trans men. Trans men can pass very quickly. They grow a goatee or they grow some facial hair, and most trans men I've met are very short men, very short, and they look like boys with goatees or facial hair. Most trans men, no one would ever clock them unless they're looking at height. Like, oh my God, that man's really short. Oh, he might be a woman. That's not a normal thought for people. Trans women, unfortunately, a lot of them were men of size or stature. And therefore, some trans women will never completely and fully pass unless they're short, petite men that become women. But what I think Bruce Jenner is doing, not knowing her real name or her femme name, is very brave and very educational for the world. Hopefully, the world will be sympathetic to her and realize that this is a very, very real struggle for women. You know, there's like Candace Cain and Laverne Cox and other trans people that are very public in the public eye as trans. They had to go through the same thing. And they also had to go through the ugly duckling stage of, I just started hormones. I'm just now, you know, undergoing his shaving of the Adam's apple and facial feminization and things. It's a very long, very, very expensive process. You've got your silicone injections for your hips, your ass, your cheeks, your lips, then you have your facial feminization of shaving your forehead, your Adam's apple if you need it, your jawbone, not to mention your breast implants and your laser hair removal for your entire body, or electrolysis. And heaven forbid you have gray hair, because laser does not work on gray hair. So you definitely have to do electrolysis. And it's a very lengthy and very expensive process. And it's very painful. And it's one of the hardest things that a person can go through. So for Bruce to do this in a very public way is so shocking and awe-inspiring for me. Like, I totally look up to and respect him for doing this in the public, because you definitely have that awkward, ugly duckling stage. Like, wow. You know, and again, I do think a lot of trans women or trans men might not appreciate, like on True Blood, for example, there's a lot of vampires that don't like public vampires. They're like, oh my God, we're not real. You're making us public. We don't want to be public. I get it. I totally get it. But in the reality, I do think that the world would be a better place if they knew that trans women and trans men existed. And if they kind of realized that this is a real thing. The thing that I got from the Bruce Jenner interview with Diane Sawyer, I think a lot of people are going to look at the Bruce Jenner Diane Sawyer interview and be like, what the fuck? But imagine the first gay person to ever publicly come out of the closet. If they were interviewed by Diane Sawyer, it'd be very much the same thing. Hey guys, I was born this way. This is a real struggle that I have in my life. I've tried to be attracted to women. I've tried to be what society wants me to be. I've tried to have short hair, and I've tried to be masculine, and and I was very successful. I won gold medals and things. But it's a very real struggle where you're fighting your heterosexuality and you are actually gay. The same as him fighting his masculinity and he's actually a woman. And if you think in the terms of transsexualism versus homosexuality, if he was just coming out of the closet, it'd be very much the same. But society has met lots of gay people and they understand, maybe not completely, obviously we are still somewhat in the dark ages where gays don't have rights, but imagine that America's reaction would have been much like their reaction to Bruce Jenner, as in the homosexuality. Granted, he's obviously a heterosexual man becoming a lesbian woman, but he's still a woman. And that's the educational and informative message that I hope America takes from it. That transsexualism is a real thing. There are people born in the wrong bodies, and there are people that identify as homosexual, and there are people that identify as transsexualism, and they're not exactly the same thing. Oh, it's very confusing. But I applaud Bruce. I think Bruce is to be praised for doing this in a public way. And I've never really watched the Kardashians. I've seen episodes here and there, but I've never really watched it. But I can guarantee I will be watching Bruce Jenner's journey. And I applaud him. He has my respect and my admiration. Anyways, that was Misty Eyez for Queens of the Week. Loving is easy.